What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel for this episode of Retro Hidden Gems. That's right, I said it, hidden gems. There's still a few of them out there. Now, I know a fucking lot about retro video games. And every now and then, I find a game that I never heard of before. And even less often than that, I find a game that I never heard of before that rocks. When that happens, I want to bring it to your attention. So that's what this episode's about. Retro Hidden Gems. Today we're going to be talking about a Super Famicom game that never left Japan, but it should have, because it's awesome. So the game we're going to be talking about today, I first heard about around 4 years ago on a channel called Retro Drew. He covers a lot of imports and does some good reviews. You should go check out his channel. He was doing a review on this game, and right away the graphics caught my eye, so I made sure to watch the whole video. After I did watch 30 seconds of it, I realized I want to get on eBay and buy it. That's what I did. But the game we're going to be talking about is none other than Melfand Stories. As I said, Melfand Stories is a Super Famicom game that never left Japan. I'm not sure why, because the game's fantastic. As you can see, the graphics are great. Melfand Stories, a side-scrolling beat-em-up that can be two-player co-op. Since my wife doesn't want to play video games, and Angry Baby's only two, one player it is! Much as I did, the first thing you're probably going to notice is that the graphics are fantastic. It's what caught my eye when I first saw Retro Drew's review, and it's definitely my favorite part of the game. It's got a pretty damn good soundtrack as well. It's chiptune orchestra-esque. Reminds me of Final Fantasy II, but not nearly as epic. Another thing you may notice is that the game is in Japanese, yet some of it is also in English. This may come as a surprise to you, but I don't speak Japanese. Not only does it sound difficult, but it looks pretty impossible to decipher. So why is it that many of these Famicom and Super Famicom games do this? I don't know. So are most people in Japan bilingual? Why do they do this? It happens a lot. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But the point I'm getting at here is that the story in Melfand Stories remains a mystery to me. It could be as fantastic as the graphics, or it could be just another Save the Kingdom and or Princess. Since I have beat the game, I do have an idea of what it is, but I'm going to leave that for you to find out for yourself. Because you really do owe it to yourself to grab this game and play it. There are 4 playable characters to choose from, and you can switch between them when you die and continue, but like with almost all games that give you that option, I chose one and stuck with them the whole time. Course was my favorite of the characters. He seemed the strongest and had a good reach with his weapon. There's a lot to like about this game, but its big flaw, other than being rather short and pretty damn easy, is the gameplay itself. It's a little clunky. Now that is in part because I chose the big strong character, so I guess that was my fault. The controls are more responsive and quicker when you choose the faster, weaker characters, but that's not how I roll. Other than just plain attack, you can jump attack, slide, block, and use magic. You can only cast spells if you collect them in the form of an orb. There's 3 types of orbs: fire, lightning, and wind. Fire was my favorite, but all of them deal a lot of damage, and I tried to save them for boss fights. And the boss fights in this game are plentiful, mostly very well done, but unfortunately pretty easy. There wasn't any one boss that gave me very much trouble, and my favorite of all the bosses was definitely the Red Dragon. Really reminded me of a cutesy version of the Red Dragon in the Dungeons & Dragons arcade game. Aside from the bosses, there are some very cool NPC characters. These are the parts that a translation patch, which I do believe is now available, would have improved my enjoyment of this game even more. The sprites and enemies are also well done, but definitely take a second place to the backgrounds. So many of these are just awesome. Lots of detail. This is one of the things I look for that really stick out to me in a good game. And they did so here, as you can see. It is, after all, the Super Nintendo, so you got some parallax scrolling, but my single favorite part of this game is the horse and buggy Mode 7 stage. This is what first caught my eye when I saw Retro Drew's review, and it still ended up being my favorite part of the whole game. The board itself is no fun, just jump and slash, but it looks cool as hell and sticks out in my mind as the only one of its type out of all the games I've played. So aside from all the cool things like graphics, sound, gameplay, the branching paths, multiple characters to choose from, and 2-player co-op give Melfand Stories a lot of replayability, aside from being a really awesome game. Pick it up. You're probably not going to find it around, because not only is it a hidden gem, but it's Japanese only. So, you've got the internet, right? eBay. I don't know what it costs. When I got it 4 years ago, it was only like $20, so it's probably only like $400 now, right? That's it. That's my review of Melfand Stories. It's not too in-depth. Just want to bring this hidden gem to your attention. Because if you're in to Super Nintendo and Super Famicom games, this is one you need to pick up. What? That's it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Till next time, YouTube, keep it retro!